All right, so for those of you who don't know, November is National Caregiver Awareness Month, and families nationwide are grappling with this emotional, financial, and personal toll of caring for a loved one, especially if they have to also balance work, life, and kids. One of the original co-hosts of The View, Debbie Matenopoulos, left Hollywood at the height of her career to return home to Virginia and care for her father for 3 years until his passing, and has become a caregiving advocate. Debbie joins us now to talk about the importance of caregiving, along with Marvell Adams Jr., CEO of the Caregiver Action Network. Thank you so much for both being here.
Thank you for having us.
First of all, Debbie, I'm sorry about your father, but I'm glad that you were able to be there.
Me too.
Financially to help him and give him that care and love. I just want to ask a simple question, though. If we took away these family caregivers immediately starting tomorrow, what would happen to the healthcare system?
It would fall apart. First of all, it's incredibly expensive to have an elderly loved one who's perhaps having to be put in a facility, in a rehabilitation center or a assisted living facility. Super expensive. Insurance doesn't cover it all. A lot of people don't want to go into those homes. They want to stay at home. I know personally, for my experience, my dad, I'm Greek, and a lot of ethnic people are not interested in going to these homes. They want their family to take care of them. And they want to pass away where they are comfortable, and they want people that they know there. So I had the opportunity to, I mean, I feel like it's a blessing. It was never a difficult decision. It was a difficult position that I was in, having to care for him, because when you love someone so deeply and you see their health deteriorate, it's hard. But I was able to say, no, I'm stepping away from my career and all of this, and if I don't get a job when I come back, then it's okay, because this to me is more important. And I had the opportunity to go take care of him, but a lot of people don't. And a lot of people would come back and then not even have jobs. You know what I mean? Where their employers say, sorry, you've been gone for so long. Now your position's filled.
And we've seen people even try to manage it while they have their jobs and doing this. It's extremely difficult on people. Marvell, maybe you could talk about the fact that maybe if we could quantify this, how many hours per week are some of these family caregivers working, and what would that cost be like if a professional was doing that work?
Exactly the point. I mean, so when you're talking about family caregivers that are spending 10 to 20 hours a week in addition to their own full-time or part-time job, and you start to quantify that, you're talking about billions of dollars that are part of our economy right now if caregivers just cease to exist out there. But you also have to understand that managing that process and not being overwhelmed is a huge part of why we exist as a not-for-profit Caregiver Action Network, because without the backbone of our healthcare system being family caregiver, over 63 million, we cannot function as a society. We cannot have people thrive and actually have the healthcare needs met.
It's interesting that you guys came here together to talk about this, because I personally have seen this play out on both sides of my family, and it was so difficult to get family members paid for the work that they were doing. Why is it so difficult to begin with?
Well, it's hard to say. I think because there's understaffing, there's exhaustion, there are people who are in a position who cannot leave their jobs and go do what they need to do. I think we've been talking about there's so much emphasis put on the beginning of life. How, you know, there's maternity leave, there's paternity leave, but wait a minute, what about caregivers leave? Because we place so much emphasis on the newborns and the new life, but what about the end of our life? Because
what a great point.
We're going to get there. Every single one of us here and every single one of us at home is going to be there at some point. You're either going to need caregiving or you're going to be a caregiver. So I think it's right now is the time for us to start talking about this and educating us, the people out there, because the truth is, the longer we live and the more the earth is populated, the more difficult it's going to become. So we really need to get ahead of it.
And your organization is doing just that, right? Helping people navigate this difficult situation.
Absolutely. So for nearly 30 years, Caregiver Action Network has led National Family Caregivers Month each November. And so for this year, nfcmonth.org is really a simplified approach where people can go in, find information that they need right there and right now, and meet them where they are. Because being able to manage caregiving is what we're really about helping people on. Because outside of that, you want to be there for your mom. You want to be there for your sisters, your brothers, but you also cannot juggle everything in your life and be expected to do that. And so from the pay perspective of it, understanding that people do need those resources, that it's not free to take care of somebody. People put themselves into debt. We've worked with caregivers that have gone bankrupt, helping their loved ones, and it's like, so, well, we have to societally figure out a bigger way. But in the meantime, our organization is really supporting people through our resources that are all no cost, being able to connect them with technology that can also make it more manageable for them to be a caregiver.
Like there's something I've been using for my mom right now to get ahead of it, to make sure that I can keep track of what she's doing doing and make sure she's safe. There's something called Nomo Smart Care technology. There's all kinds of apps out there that you can go online and find that really can help with your caregiving journey.
Well, I certainly appreciate you both being here and talking about such an important issue that we are all going to have to deal with, as your point is made it there. Again, appreciate you both being here.
Thank you
Thanks
for
so
having
much.
us.
All right, we have more news straight ahead. Stay with us.